You know that sinking feeling at 2 a.m. when a past mistake creeps into your mind and won't let you sleep? Your heart races as you replay something you wish you could undo. It's like being stuck in a prison of your own making. Walls built of regret and self-blame. Guilt feels like a life sentence with you as both prisoner and judge. What if I told you that heavy weight on your chest, the guilt that's been shadowing you, doesn't have to run your life? You carry guilt around as if punishing yourself will somehow fix what happened. But has it? All that time spent beating yourself up, did it make you better or just break you further? You know the answer. Guilt doesn't heal. It just hovers, a storm cloud blocking every ray of self-compassion. We need to talk about how you got here, how guilt became your constant companion. It started early. Remember being a kid, hearing the word bad like it was your nickname? Maybe you were told you were born with something wrong in you, that you needed to be good to earn love. Society, religion, well-meaning elders, they all planted the seed that if you messed up, you deserved to feel awful about it. And that seed grew fast. By the time you could tie your shoes, you already knew the taste of guilt. It's no surprise you learned to carry guilt like it's part of being a good person. Do something wrong, feel bad about it. That was the formula drilled into you. Spill your milk, shame on you. Tell a lie as a kid, time to feel terrible. You were taught that guilt equals accountability, that if you don't feel guilty, you must not care. So you embraced guilt, thinking it was your conscience keeping you in line. But here's the messed up truth. Guilt became more than just a moral compass. It became your identity. Over the years, you subconsciously started to believe that if you're not feeling guilty about something, you're probably missing something. You scan your life for reasons to say sorry, even when an apology isn't needed. It's as if you're uncomfortable unless you're uncomfortable. On some level, constant guilt has felt normal, even necessary. And guilt is sneaky. It doesn't just stick to the big things like that one regret that keeps you up at night. No, it seeps into the little things too, coloring your daily life. You decline an invite to stay home and rest, then feel guilty for not being social. You eat a slice of cake and feel guilty for breaking your diet. You even catch yourself apologizing when someone else bumps into you on the street, as if everything is automatically your fault. It's absurd, isn't it? We humans will find any excuse to feel guilty. Let's look at what guilt really does to you. Picture carrying a backpack loaded with stones, each one a regret or mistake you refuse to put down. How far can you walk like that? How much living can you do weighed down by that burden? Guilt drains your energy, your joy, your ability to be present. It keeps you stuck in a moment that's already gone. It's like trying to drive forward while constantly staring in the rearview mirror. Sooner or later, you crash. You might think holding on to guilt is your way of making sure you don't get away with it. It's like you're both the warden and the inmate, keeping yourself behind bars because you believe it's what you deserve. Maybe you think if you suffer enough, you've paid your dues. But here's a question. Who appointed you judge, jury, and executioner of your own soul? Whose standard are you trying to meet by punishing yourself long after the world moved on? Guilt often sticks around because you confuse it with responsibility. You believe that letting go of guilt equals letting yourself off the hook. That if you stop feeling bad, you're saying it was okay. But feeling bad forever doesn't make you responsible. Acting to make things right does. There's a difference between guilt and remorse. Remorse sparks a sincere apology or a change in behavior. Guilt just loops the pain on repeat without end. Let's get real. Everyone makes mistakes, sometimes big, sometimes small. We've all been there, doing or saying something we wish we hadn't. Maybe you hurt someone you love. Maybe you failed someone who was counting on you. The irony is, they might have already forgiven you, or at least moved on. But you haven't forgiven yourself. You hold yourself to a standard of perfection that no human can meet, then use guilt as a whip when you fall short. It's cruel, and you'd never do it to someone you care about. So why do it to yourself? Now, you might think your guilt proves you care, that it's a sign of your integrity. It's okay to feel that. You've been conditioned to believe good people feel guilty when they mess up. And yes, a pang of guilt can be the compass that points you toward making amends. But there comes a point where that healthy pang turns into a festering wound. Past that point, guilt isn't noble. It's self-indulgent in the worst way. It keeps you focused on your pain rather than the pain of whoever you hurt. It turns your attention inward, obsessing over what a bad person you are, instead of outward, asking how you can fix things and do better next time. Here's a sobering thought. Guilt and fear are tag team partners, and together, they are the only real enemies you've got. Fear whispers that you're going to be punished, that you'll lose love or respect because of what you did. Guilt then steps in to pre-punish you emotionally, just to beat life to the punch. It's a twisted strategy. You hurt yourself before anyone else can. Living in fear and guilt doesn't shield you from suffering. It is suffering. It creates the very pain you're trying to avoid. So why does guilt still have such a grip on you? Because you allow it. Because you've been lied to, by others, and by yourself. The lie is that guilt somehow fixes things, that it atones for sins, balances the scales, earns you forgiveness. But in reality, guilt is a useless currency. No matter how much of it you collect, you can't buy back your past or pay off karma. All you buy is more misery, and it's time to stop buying in. Let's flip the script now, because there's a truth you need to hear. You are already forgiven, but consider this. In the eyes of the divine, or the universe, or however you want to frame it, there is no eternal grudge against you. The only one still insisting you must suffer is you. Think about that. The universe moves forward, nature moves forward, life moves forward, and it wants you to move forward too. This idea might feel like a revelation, maybe even a shock. You've gotten so used to dragging your guilt everywhere that imagining life without it feels unreal. But just for a moment, imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling light, as if a giant weight has been lifted. The things that used to trigger that pang in your heart now just bring a gentle understanding. You remember what happened, you know what you learned from it, but the pain is gone. That's what self-forgiveness can do. It's not a fairy tale, it's a choice. And it starts by accepting that life isn't interested in your guilt. It's interested in your growth. Even Neale Donald Walsch, in his Conversations with God, pointed out that God never actually condemns you. There is nothing you have done that cannot be forgiven. The only one refusing to forgive you, ironically, is you. I know part of you might resist this. You might think, sure, maybe small stuff is forgivable, but you really messed up. You hurt someone, you failed, you did something awful. I hear you. What you did might have been truly painful, for you or for others. Owning that is important. But understand this. No matter the scale of your mistake, beating yourself up forever is not required. In fact, it's one of the least constructive things you can do. Real forgiveness even for the big stuff, is possible. It doesn't mean excusing the act. It means finally excusing yourself from a self-imposed life sentence. Think of it this way. Life is a classroom, not a courtroom. In a classroom, mistakes are expected. They're how you learn. You don't condemn a student for getting a problem wrong. You help them understand and correct it. You are that student, and also the teacher of your own life. The courtroom of guilt, where you're endlessly on trial in your head, is a myth. Step out of it. Step into the classroom mindset, where every mistake is just another lesson. If there truly is a higher power, or even just higher wisdom within you, it has already let this go. Picture a loving presence looking at you with a gentle smile, wondering why you're still punishing yourself. That compassionate voice wants you to take the lesson and then drop the pain. The universe has already stamped your past resolved. You're the one still carrying the file around, insisting the case is open. Believe it or not, letting go of guilt is your birthright. You weren't born to live in chains of self-condemnation. No baby is born hating itself. We come into life free, innocent, ready to grow. That freedom to move on after a stumble is native to you. Over time, we just forgot how to exercise it. But it's still there waiting. The key to your prison is in your own hand. Always has been. So how do you actually start letting go of guilt? It's one thing to understand you're forgiven in theory. It's another to feel it and live it. Let's bridge that gap. First off, acknowledge the guilt openly. Don't deny it or hide from it. Look it in the eye and admit it. You feel guilty about this. Sometimes just stating the truth out loud takes away a bit of its power. You're not tiptoeing around it anymore. You're facing it. Next, find the lesson in your guilt. In its healthiest form, guilt is a messenger that something you did went against your values. So ask, what's the lesson here? Maybe your mistake taught you something about treating others, making decisions, or listening to yourself. When you focus on what you learned, the mistake gains a purpose. The guilt begins to loosen because something good came from it. Now, make amends if you can. But realize that sometimes the person you need to make amends to is yourself. If your guilt is from hurting someone and it's possible to apologize or fix it, do that. Say you're sorry and fix what can be fixed. Taking action will reassure the part of you that's worried about making things right. But what if the person is gone, or the situation can't be changed? Then you have to forgive yourself internally. You could imagine them forgiving you, or write a letter saying everything you need to, even if you never send it. Do what you can, and then recognize when there's nothing more you can do except learn and move forward. Here's a powerful exercise. Imagine your best friend, or someone you truly love, came to you with the exact same mistake and guilt you're carrying. They're overwhelmed, unable to forgive themselves. What would you say? You'd show them understanding, remind them of their goodness, encourage them to forgive themselves. Now give yourself that same compassion. Turn it inward where it's long overdue. If it helps, stand in front of a mirror and say to yourself what you'd say to that friend. It might feel awkward at first, but it's also incredibly healing. Another technique. Every time that guilty thought pops up, that inner voice replaying the greatest hits of your mistakes, practice interrupting it. Tell yourself you've learned from that mistake and you're letting it go. You don't have to fight the thought with brute force. Just counter it with a firm decision. Over time, you train your mind to shift from self-punishment to self-acknowledgement, to a mindset that says you're moving forward, not looking back. Let's address something important. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean forgetting or acting like it never happened. It doesn't mean you're letting bad behavior slide. It means you're finally separating the deed from the doer, you from the act. You are not what you did in a moment of pain, confusion, or ignorance. You are the person who exists now, who has the chance to do better. Keep the memory as a reference if you must, but drop the emotional shackles attached to it. Also, remember that self-forgiveness is not a straight line. You might feel free one day and weighed down the next. It's normal. Breaking the guilt habit takes time, and healing isn't linear. What matters is that you keep coming back to the truth. You deserve to be free. Every moment is a new chance to affirm that you release this, that you are forgiven, and that you are moving forward. Let's talk about self-talk, because how you speak to yourself matters. Pay attention to that inner dialogue. When you catch it calling you names or declaring you unworthy, challenge it. Replace the thought, "I'm a horrible person," with, "I'm a person who made a mistake, and I'm learning." At first, it may feel forced, but over time, this kind of kinder self-talk will become your real mindset. Through all this, practice self-compassion daily. Some days you'll feel like you've turned a corner. Other days you'll stumble over old feelings. It's all right. When a toddler is learning to walk and falls down, you don't scold them. You encourage them to get up and try again. Treat yourself with the same patience. You're learning to live without this burden that's been with you for so long. It's a relearning of how to be you, without the constant self-judgment. Now, consider that what you see as your biggest mistake, the thing you feel most guilty about, could actually be a turning point, even a gift in disguise. Many people, once they release their guilt, discover that their past missteps fuel their greatest growth. That screw-up might have led you to a profound insight, a new direction, or an unshakable resolve to be better. In that sense, the worst thing you did can catalyze the best version of you, if you let it. But you can't get there if you keep telling yourself you're awful. You have to drop that awful story about yourself to reach the new one where you rise stronger. Imagine your life free from this weight. Visualize it vividly. Who are you without that constant guilt? Maybe you stand a little taller, smile a little more easily. You have more energy because none is siphoned off to feed the endless regret machine. You invest that energy into your passions, your loved ones, the things that actually matter today. You become more present, more alive. That person, guilt-free you, is not a fantasy. It's you, as real as can be, waiting on the other side of a decision to forgive yourself. Let's empower that vision with a simple truth. You get to write the rest of your story. If you've been stuck on the chapter called Guilt, know that you're the author, and you can start a new chapter whenever you're ready. The pen is literally in your hands. Write something new now, perhaps a chapter of redemption, learning, and self-love. Because this story is yours, and it's far from over. As we come to a close, take a deep breath and acknowledge how far you've come just by confronting this. You faced a heavy topic most people avoid. You opened the door to your mental closet and peeked at those skeletons. That takes courage. Now you have some tools, some perspectives, and hopefully a fire lit within to finally step out from under guilt's shadow. So here's my invitation to you. Make the choice. Decide that you have punished yourself enough and that it's time to live again. If this message struck a chord, honor that feeling. Maybe tonight, sit quietly and tell yourself you release this guilt and you claim your freedom. Say it 100 times if you need to, until it feels real. Let this be the moment you start to believe that you deserve peace. Because you do. You always did. So if you made it this far and something resonated with you, do me a small favor. Hit that like button. I mean, let's be honest. If you stuck around until now, you got something out of this, right? And if you're hungry for more conversations like this, consider subscribing. Because we're just getting started on this journey. Now carry this insight with you and step forward. Your life is waiting. Your freedom is here for the taking.